Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment you've been waiting for, this is yours truly, the one and only, the host of Premier Media's Leadership Files. Today we are taking a different turn. We are bringing a poet. I'm a poet myself. I love poetry. I've liked poetry ever since when I was in primary school. No, actually, no. I've liked poetry ever since I was in high school. So that's a long time ago. So today, there's a fellow poet who has done great works, not only in Zambia. She is well known by those in the literary and the literature and the writing world. This is none other than Anna Gambo. She is an award winning poet who is going to be joining us to share some thoughts on her journey as a poet and as an author. Anna, how are you doing?
Good evening and good afternoon. This is Anna Zgambo. Thank you, Noah, for having me on the program. I'm well. How are you today?
I'm very well. I'm very happy to have you. So we're gonna go straight into our interview because you are somebody I have followed from a distance, not stalking, but following your work to see the great things that you've been working on. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Thank you, Noah. I truly appreciate this opportunity. I was born in Lusaka at Kalingalinga Clinic in November 1989. After completing secondary school, I decided to study English literature. I graduated from the University of Pretoria with a degree in English studies. I worked for Commonics International here in Lusaka as a publication specialist on the Step Up Zambia project. In 2014, I decided to embark on a career in self-employment. I wanted to be a self-employed writer. And I've been working as a writer ever since. It's been now about 9 years. In 2022, I started studying at the University of Zambia. I did coursework and I wrote a dissertation for Master of Arts in Literature. Right now, I study creative writing at Open Window University in Lusaka. My book, Read Prose Poetry, was published by Zambia Educational Publishing House. My latest book is Peruse Every Poem, published by the Authorship and Career Network. ACN purchased my manuscript and they've produced this beautiful book. This book is available on Utushimi for 11 kwacha as an ebook.
Wow, that's impressive. I think for some of us who love this space, the writing space, you are somebody that a lot of us look up to as a young, bright, and upcoming, making your way, navigating through the process of writing and to the stage on which you stand on. You are a beacon of hope. You are a light that shines. And I wish every, especially the young girls out there and the young boys, can look up to what they can achieve if they put in the hard work. It starts with they have to roll up the sleeves and do the heavy lifting because it's not easy to write. So what inspires you to write? Because writing, most people, they'll say they can't write a sentence. I mean, a paragraph is and think of, but what inspires you as a writer?
Thank you so much, Noah, for the empowering words. And I appreciate this question. What inspires me to write? I am inspired by professionalism. I understand that writing is a component in most professions. If you want to become an expert in a discipline, you have to write. If you want to become an expert at engineering, you'll have to produce some publications at some point. If you want to become an expert in public health, you'll need to have a publication at some point. So expertise is linked to authorship. This is something that I'm aware of. But my field isn't public health, it isn't engineering. I'm interested in the arts, I'm interested in literature. And literature means poetry, short stories, novels, creative nonfiction, and plays. And I'm motivated by being an expert in this discipline of literary studies. That's what motivates me to write. I sit at my desk to write a poem because I'd like to be a literary expert in this field. And I know that to excel in this profession, I have to produce publications. That's what inspires me personally. And I'm glad you mentioned the young people, the girls and boys. This is what I would like to teach them. There's a profession. We all have a field because we all have talents and skills. So there's something that you're good at, and there's a profession that you're you're going to be working in, and you can be an author in that field, no matter what you're doing. It could be business administration, it could be dentistry, you could be doing finance, you can be a writer in those fields. We need all kinds of books. And the inspiration to write is when you write, when you produce publications, you'll become an expert and it'll help you become an expert in that field. Publications are vital to succeed in a profession. I would love to see Zambian books in from all areas. When I go into a bookshop like Grey Matter or Book World, I'd like to see engineering books written by Zambians, dentistry books written by Zambians. But right now we don't have. I can actually go to Book World or Grey Matter and I can ask, I'd like some children's books written by Zambians, and they'll say, we don't have any, but we have children's books from America or India or the UK, but not from Zambia. I'll ask for, I'm interested in some health books written by Zambians. They'll say, we don't have those right now, but you can get a health book that was written and published in America. So I want to encourage Zambians in all fields. Let's write. That should be our inspiration. Let's be inspired to produce books and to put our professional knowledge in publications. That's what inspires me. Thank you.
It's very uplifting to hear the words that you just shared, because I think it's incumbent upon us as writers, as content creators, to ensure that at least, especially in our locality where we live, that we have books that are written by people who look like us, because charity begins at home. It's important for us to ensure that, I like the example that you gave. This is not rocket science or engineering. It's, in a way, it's some form of playing around with words. I remember my teacher of English back when I was in high school. She would say, you have to play around with words, because when you play around with the 26 letters of the alphabet, you can arrange them in different sequences, coming up with sentences, paragraphs, and books. You can never run out of what to say. You just have to be creative, just have to have your mind flowing in all directions. Otherwise, this is why we're doing this show. So at least we can just put a spin on who you are and what you have done. So talk a little bit about, how many books have you written?
I have written so many, I have many manuscripts, and I've submitted so many manuscripts to publishers. For example, my publisher, Zambia Educational Publishing House, I've given them about maybe 5 or 6 manuscripts, and
Mm.
they've reached all levels of, some have almost been published, some they even produced like the galleys. But it's so hard here in Zambia to produce books. There's so many challenges. So some of those books haven't yet reached the market. There's one I have. It's called Zambia Has Stories. We I finished that manuscript. Zeph edited it. We even produced a small galley of that book, but it hasn't yet hit the market. I have so many others. There's one called Zambia Niyokoma. This one is a really nice publication. I love it, but it's not yet on the market. So I have so many manuscripts, truly. I have so many. The ones that have managed to reach bookshops, it's my book, this one, Read Prose Poetry. This one was published by Zambia Educational Publishing House. And I submitted this book to the National Arts Council of Zambia last year, and it reached the finals of the Ngoma Awards. So this is, I would say, my most successful book right now.
Wow. Well, the Ngoma Awards, I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, to have your book up, making its way through the countless writers and authors and poets who are out there. I mean, that's a worthy, notable accomplishment. So I salute what you do and what you stand for. So, what words of encouragement do you have for those who are not necessarily in the writing space, but who are looking to get into the writing space? What words of wisdom do you have? Now, let's put it in twofold. For the young girls, what words of encouragement, and also what words of encouragement for the poets who haven't broken through the concrete space of writing? They are still sort of like in the trenches, pushing. How do you encourage them to keep up what they're doing? Because we need more. We need more of us in this space to put our work out there and to encourage. And also, because when you write something, you're not only writing something for yourself, you're writing it also to uplift and market your country. Because when you go to Grey Matter, you go to Book World, they are not only foreign people's books, they are books by Anna Zgambo, Marita Banda, and many more that we have. So, words of advice to those two people.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Noah. This is a really important question. First of all, I want you to understand that writing isn't just for people in the literary industry. We need writers in all disciplines. I'll just take a discipline like psychology. You're a 15-year-old girl. You love giving people advice. You imagine that one day you'll be a psychotherapist. That's your dream. Maybe you hope that one day you'll work as a psychiatrist. You love the field of psychology, but you're also interested in writing. So you don't know, like, how can I be a writer? I also love psychology. Well, there's writing in psychology. We need psychology books. When you go to a bookshop like Gray Matter, there's a self-help section because people are looking for books that can help them with their mental health. So we need writers in the field of psychology. So, if you want to be a writer, think about your passion. What do you love to do? You love advising people, you love helping people heal their mental health problems, then get involved in psychology writing. Try to produce a self-help book. But you see, how do you do that? You should go and study. Go and study psychology, become a professional psychologist, and then start writing those psychology books. Put your self-help books out there when you have that education. And this applies in all fields. Let's talk about finance. You want to give financial advice to people. You can do it in a book. Finance books are so popular. Go to any bookshop, you'll find a finance section. But who's writing? Who can write the finance books? It'll be really nice with somebody who has knowledge and who has credentials in that field. So go study finance in higher education. Get your degree and then produce a book where you share your financial knowledge. So do you see what I'm saying? That no matter what field you enter, you can produce a book in that field. But it starts from your passion. It starts from your interest. You're interested in nutrition. You're passionate about healthy living. So you can write a book about that because there's so many people looking for advice. They don't know where to turn. You can advise people in books. But then again, how do you write a book about nutrition? Why don't you go study first? Go to college, go to university, get that nutrition knowledge, and then produce a book. And we'll buy that book because you're a credible person. Oh, this is a certified nutritionist. I want to buy her book, and I'm going to apply that knowledge in my life. That's the way to go. Even those of us who are studying poetry, who want to write poetry. Yes, you can study poetry in higher education. You can actually learn what is a poem. What are the ingredients of a poem? Why do we write poetry, and how should we write poems? You can go to an institution like the University of Zambia, Open Window University, and get literary education and start to produce these books and put them on the market. And then people can have confidence in your work, saying, okay, I can buy this book because the author is somebody who has taken the trouble to study poetry. And she's also taken the trouble to understand what literature is. We can give these books to our children. We have confidence in these publications. So there's a link between education and writing. Literature, let's say the field, let's just talk about books. Books are connected to education. There's some fields, or let's say some art forms where you don't necessarily see that education link. But books, you have to be literate to write a book. No one is born reading and writing. No one comes out of the womb knowing how to write. We learn to write. That's why education is vital in the book industry. You need some kind of education to produce a book. And it can go deeper. It can go deeper than just basic reading and writing skills, but also the professional knowledge that you'll put inside the book. There's a problem that we have in Zambia. Zambia has, let's say, a development crisis. Our country is underdeveloped. How can we develop Zambia? One way is through professionalism. Professional people can create a developed country. And so let's put our professional knowledge in books. That's one way we can develop our country, Zambia. That's how I would advise the young people. Start with your passion and then look at your professional goals and then produce a book that's based on your passion and your profession. That's what I'm doing. I'm passionate about literature. I love literary studies. I'm at the University of Zambia doing Master of Arts in Literature. I'm at Open Window University studying creative writing. This is what I love. And I'm putting my passion and my profession in books. That's my advice to young people. Thank you.
This has been very, very informative and educational. And I just appreciate you taking the time, I know from your busy schedule, especially on a weekend, to share your few moments, because you just never know who is listening on the other side. So I want to thank you, and we look forward to having you back again on yet another exciting conversation as we look to highlight those who are doing meaningful things, those who are making a huge difference to impact not only the locals in Zambia, but to uplift the image of our country and our scholarship and our literature, so that we want people to say, oh, those people out there, they are known for reading, they're known for such and such. So, Anna, it's been a pleasure having you. I look forward to having you back on our future program.
Thank you so much, Noam. I'm truly grateful for this platform. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about literature, books, and writing. I hope I can be back again next time. I'll even read some poems from my book. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.